about martial arts theory, a bit of analogy as to how I explain certain things. Now, you may remember or may have heard of this funny, obscure martial artist, Bruce Lee. Of course, long since no longer with us, pioneer of martial artists, one of the greatest martial artists who's ever lived, and he wrote extensively. And one of the things that Bruce Lee wrote about was the value of music in martial arts. And if you read his seminal work, Tao of Jeet Kune Do, I know he didn't write it, it was written after his death, but in amongst his writings was concepts of music and beat and rhythm and disrupting rhythm and hitting on the half beat and so on and so on. And I use this kind of explanation in class sometimes. Now here what I'm really talking about is the percussive arts. So I'm talking about kickboxing, karate, kempo, that sort of thing. Now here's the thing, many of your students, many of you, will have learned music to some degree, because you do it in school, okay? You probably, if you're of a certain generation, learned the recorder. Who plays the recorder after they've left school, honestly, right? But you've probably learned it. Or your children have learned it, and you've suffered the consequences of them learning it, or your martial arts students have learned it. And of course, some of us will learn music as we get a bit older, because it becomes a hobby, and maybe we carry it on for work. I took up music in my 20s. I actually got my grade 3 in the tuba. So of all the bizarre things, but there you go, I joined the band. Now, it is a useful analogy, and I've had students, some students this goes straight over their heads, they haven't played music, they don't get it, and that's fine. Some students really do warm to this way of thinking. So, what I'm getting at is the difference between staccato and legato, and therefore the difference in white belt through to black belt. When somebody new starts to learn music, they learn staccato, and that's deliberate and that's for good reason. So it's each single note. Okay? London Bridge is falling down. Am I right, Max? There you go. You've played music at a far higher level than me, haven't you? Right? That's how you start to learn, and that's fine. When you're a new martial artist, so if Max takes a hold, when you're new, or indeed kickboxing, you're going to be white belt, and that's fine. As you get better at your music or get better at your martial arts, staccato should naturally become legato. So all these notes should blur into each other. So rather than it being a set of crotchets, it should be one phrase. Okay? So instead of London Bridge is falling down, you get London Bridge is falling down. I should add, I can't sing. So this, as you evolve through your kickboxing combinations or through your defensive combinations, this staccato should become a continual flow. So I'm not even thinking about it, I've got the hold and I just flow through. So it's a useful explanation, and I've had some students really grasp this and embrace this idea of kickboxing in legato, so stringing things together in one continual flow, or indeed overwhelming the attacker with a continual flow of techniques. That's your legato, that's your music theory. And I hope in that I'm giving you something that either appeals to you as a learner or appeals to you as somebody that's teaching this stuff, and I hope I'm appropriately paying homage to Bruce Lee there. Thank you very much, Max.